I've landed in Nadi, Fiji, and I have a bit of a layover at the airport, a few hours. So rather than sitting around, I met a cab driver who's going to take me into town, and he says there's a temple that he wants to show me. So we're going to go to this temple, go into town, and then I'm going to board a flight to Suva Suva, which is a little island above the mainland, or the main island of Fiji. And we're going to get to Namale and the Singa Singa Sands Resort in Suva Suva. Let's go. The country of Fiji is an archipelago of over 330 islands in the South Pacific. The languages spoken in the country of Fiji are English, Fijian, and Fijian Hindi. There's a strong Hindu and Indian influence in the island, and that shows up in their food and their culture. And so when I met this cab driver, he was very excited to take me to this temple, and it's a Hindu temple in Nadi, one of the largest in Nadi, Fiji. So here we took a stop at the temple, and then after that I'm ready to head back to the airport so that we can get the show on the road. So we visited the Sri Siva Subramania temple, one of the largest Hindu temples in the southern hemisphere, and it was very colorful and really amazing architecture. So getting back to the airport, I was really feeling the gratitude of being on such a beautiful island. All the plants and trees and tropical weather was really beautiful. But by the time I got to the second plane, I was a little bit scared because I've never been on a plane quite this small that was a prop. I have been on small jets, but I've never been on a small turboprop, and so it was a little different. You feel the vibration. It was quite an experience being on this plane, especially flying over the ocean. So at this point, I was just ready to get to the destination. As we flew into the island of Suva Suva, I could feel the difference. It's definitely a big difference from being on the big island. Much more connected to nature, much more remote.
Welcome to Singapore.
When I got to Singa Singa, I was blown away, absolutely mind blown. Being in these bungalows right across from the beach, right on the ocean in Fiji with the palm trees and the wind. This is walking right up to my bungalow, coming back from the beach. I had this idea that it was going to be very remote and kind of rustic, but actually these are really luxury build-outs and very amazing cabins here at Singa Singa Sands. So it's a really amazing property. The crew and everybody here at this property really exceeded every expectation. I could not have dreamed about how perfect this property was, how amazing the land is, and how perfect the stay was. Okay, I'm going to show you guys inside a little bit. Please excuse the mess. It's quite a journey getting here to the islands. It's definitely like a 2-day excursion almost. 10-hour flight overnight plus another few hours with layovers with the flights. So, but as you can see, the property built out, very modern, has water, sink, stove, kitchen, everything that you can need for your stay. So I was really happy with everything that was included here. I'm here in Fiji, Suva Suva. Beautiful kind of rainforest, tropical, right by the ocean. And I'm paying homage to the rainforest and to nature because of this journey that I've been on, really understanding the power of reciprocating with nature and the damage and harm that we've caused in the modern world from our plundering of natural resources and taking, and not just from the earth, but also from each other. And this culture that has kind of been developed of theft and robbery and chaos, you know, stealing from each other, stealing from the earth, overusing resources, just plundering our natural resources without any thought, any care. And this is really where the idea of reciprocity comes in with nature, because as humanity progresses, the next phase is going to be all about reciprocating with nature, with people, with cultures. And so I hope, you know, this message reaches where it needs to reach, because we're all guilty. None of us are innocent. We have, especially if you live in the modern world, we have plundered natural resources in ways that you can't even comprehend. The using of electricity, gas, natural gas, jet fuel, fueling your cars, electricity, heat, cooling, all the things that we take for granted and take from the earth. You know, it's time for us to really look at the theft and chaos and robbery that this has caused. And, you know, we're one with nature. We are one. This is our home. So, you know, this is really important for us to think about and to understand. So I'm here at the event space, which is at the Namale Resort, which is just a mile up the road. As you can see, the main area for the event, the Namale Resort, is also quite an amazing property. This is the reception area overlooking the ocean, and everyone here is so nice. And hey guys, so I'm here in Suva, Fiji, at Tony Robbins Resort, Namale. And standing right behind me is the ocean, this beautiful view, this unbelievable view. And I just wanted to share a couple thoughts about everything that I've been experiencing here, as well at this point in my life, that I feel is incredibly important for us to think about, to talk about. So I'm going to share you this view real quick. So, and one of the things that I really got to understand being on this land, being in nature, being in Fiji, you know, it has a lot to do with really understanding the impact that our actions have on the planet and on other people and on life as a whole. And so I'm going to switch this around, and I'm going to keep talking and give you guys a view of the ocean, because it's such an amazing view. And one of the things that I was thinking about that really became apparent to me as I came out here to this beautiful country, this amazing land with some amazing people, is just how much more connected that I feel to the earth and the natural beauty, being around the ocean, being around this really solid earth that's connected to just some of the most beautiful lands on earth. And I thought a lot about the modern world, taking and giving and receiving, the reciprocity in nature, and the impact that our actions have on the world and on life as a whole. In a sense, the bigger picture in life really comes down to everything that we take, everything that exists, everything that we get in life, or take from the earth, or take from other people. It all comes from nature. It all comes from earth, in a sense, right? And our life is a gift from our parents, our ancestors, right? So if you're alive, that life that you have is a gift from your ancestors. You look back the centuries of all the things that had to happen for you to be born and have life. And the earth is a lot older than humanity. It's certainly a lot older than the technology. Modern technology is a phenomenon of our evolution, human evolution. And interestingly enough, even our technology, your cell phones, the chips, the computers, all this stuff, you know, comes from silica or silicon. I should know that, but it's one of those. The point is, it comes from the earth, and the connectivity and all the lessons in technology in the modern world, we can extract that from the ancient wisdom, from the wisdom of life on earth. And so to bring this all together, it really comes down to looking at and understanding the actions in capitalism, right? If you have a business, if you participate in the modern economy, what that actually means for the rest of the world, what it means for the earth, what it means for the resources that you're taking. For example, just flying here on a jet, Fiji Airways, much better than a lot of the other airlines, by the way. But they've actually invested in their airplanes to be 25% more fuel efficient. But even that, right, we're burning resources to fly. You're burning resources to drive your car. You're utilizing fuel, fossil fuels, and resources that came from the earth. Same when you prepare your food. When you're preparing your food, you understand that the food is grown in the ground for the most part, or it's an animal that's grazed on the land. And this connection that we have to earth and to life really ties into everything. So just a little bit about this event, Life and Wealth Mastery in Fiji with Tony Robbins. The Life Mastery is all about holistic health and being connected to your body and listening to your body healing. And my take on it is really this reciprocity that has to occur between us and nature and everybody around us. And then kind of the other side of that is capitalism, right? So the only thing that you really have to give in a capitalistic society when you're wealthy is money. And the reality is you probably had to take a lot from earth and from people and from other lives to get that money. So the importance of this lesson is truly vital when you look at what true abundance means. What does it mean to actually be abundant, or what it means to be abundantly wealthy, for example? That wealth is something that is extracted, in a sense, from an economy, but what the economy consists of is resources and organized people and organized systems that extract from the earth. So when we tie it all back together, the land and what it produces is life. And I think a lot of people suffer because what they've taken and they haven't figured out how to give. So part of the solution to this in your path of abundance, wealth creation, freedom, is recognizing that true freedom is health and connection to life and earth. And sometimes developing financial abundance, for example, comes at a very steep cost. And so the only way to really pay that back is investing in local communities, investing in the earth, and investing in indigenous wisdom, investing in health and holistic therapies, and finding a way to become physically, mentally, and spiritually connected to nature. And recognizing that whenever you take something from nature, to have gratitude and understand, because the earth gives freely, life gives freely, but the more that we take in the modern world, the more that we start to create an imbalance in nature, and that is going to come back to bite us. So in the modern world, we need to recognize that, the earth is abundant, nature is abundant. There's no shortage, right? If you go out into a forest, there's tons of fruit trees, and there's animals, and there's food, and there's plenty of resources. But if we don't protect the natural resources and the natural world, that will be the end of humanity. And it might not happen overnight, but if we look at where we're at today from where we were 50 years ago, this is becoming increasingly important. So that's my message, and that was the big lesson from coming here to Fiji and connecting it all together, connecting the dots, and really connecting to life and nature in such a pure way that, the last thing I'll say is that for a lot of people who are seeking healing in their health journey, I think this is the beginning of the path, right? Because a lot of the health problems that we face in the modern world comes from overconsumption, whether it's, food, pollution, toxins, chemicals, all this stuff. It's all tied together. So for our future, it's time to start giving and receiving with extreme gratitude, because everything that we receive from nature, we should receive with gratitude. And it's when we take without the gratitude that it becomes damaging, not just to the environment, but also to ourselves. So here I am in the event space, Namale Resort and Spa. This property is owned by Tony Robbins and team. I'm not sure if it's his or his company's, but the point is, this is where the event is, the Life and Wealth Mastery event, which I'm attending this year. And as you can see, it's just as amazing, just as beautiful as the other parts of Fiji. And so I'm staying right down the road from here. I just wanted to show you guys just a little bit of a view of the property, but I'm going to get back to the event.